Support WrestleTalk!
Support each other. Usually we open these videos with the news portion before moving into the AEW review, but after a night of love and adoration for a great man, it felt only right to open with the AEW Dynamite review. But this isn't really going to be a review. AEW Dynamite wasn't a night of gimmicks, it wasn't a night of characters, storylines, or angles. It was a tribute show to Brodie Lee, who tragically passed away over the weekend at the age of 41. It was a night of moving messages from members of the AEW locker room, fun matches, and a surprise appearance of a former Brodie Lee tag partner. In many ways, it was similar to the Eddie Guerrero and Owen Hart tribute shows, babyfaces getting the wins and wrestlers being given the platform to remember a fallen brother. It was a beautiful show. I don't know if you can tell, but I cried quite a bit while watching it, and I bet you that I wasn't alone in that. And judging by Twitter, the whole wrestling world was watching, with members of both sides of company locker rooms tweeting support for Brodie, with WWE Sami Zayn, Sasha Banks, Big E, and Bayley all showing their love for this episode. And it was a perfect tribute show, honoring the life of not only a great wrestler, but also a great father, husband, and all-round human being. I've never really found myself in this position before, reviewing a tribute show, so I'll do my best, I guess. This is less of a review and more of a recap in a way, I suppose. I mean, either way, please do go out of your way to watch this episode of AEW Dynamite if you haven't already, but here it is in about 5 minutes. The show's graphics for the night were purple in honor of Lee's Exalted One gimmick. All the wrestlers wore armbands with his name. Aubrey Edwards wore purple eyeshadow. Lance Archer wore Luke Harper's gear. Darby Allin had Brodie's name as part of his makeup. Everyone was in tears. Chris Jericho noted on commentary that it was okay for us to all cry and grieve tonight, and that we did. The show opened with a 10-bell salute for Brodie Lee, with the entire AEW roster on the entrance ramp, with Brodie's wife and kids front and center. Jon Moxley paid his respects in a very powerful promo, and our first match of the night saw Hardy Party take on the Young Bucks and Colt Cabana. The heels worked over Matt Jackson to build up to the Cabana hot tag, which was amazing, and after a close near fall off Gin and Juice and the Twist of Fate, the good guys hit Chicago Skyline, Indie Taker, and the Superman dive to get the win. Colt was close to tears for a lot of this match, with commentary bringing up their long history outside of All Elite Wrestling. Now, I said this show wasn't about angles, but there were a couple peppered throughout the show. The first being the Acclaimed coming out to cut a promo and being stopped by SCU to set up their 8-man tag next week. We got a lot of touching tributes throughout the night from Darby Allin, Dax Harwood, Arn Anderson, Colt Cabana, Chris Jericho, Eddie Kingston, and Bryce Remsburg. Each of them shared their own stories, like Darby saying that the first time he saw him in AEW, he wanted to wrestle him, and Jericho talking about their time in Saudi Arabia and the random knowledge that Brodie Lee had. But the overwhelming message was how much Brodie Lee loved his family. Bryce Remsburg in particular spoke very highly of him, saying through the tears that if there was a Mount Rushmore of wrestling fathers, Brodie Lee would be a part of it. In what was probably my favorite match of the evening from an in-ring perspective anyway, Lance Archer teamed up with the original Dark Order of Evil Uno and Stu Grayson to take on Eddie Kingston's family. It was a big brawling match of Hoss-like action, with amazing sequences between Kingston and Uno, Archer and Butcher, and Grayson reminded us once again why he's probably one of the most underrated guys on the AEW roster. Uno and Grayson hit Fatality for the win, and after the match they all beat up Kingston for good measure, with Jake the Snake Roberts even hitting the short arm clothesline. That brought some happy tears, man, I'll tell you. But this night wasn't about which match was best from an in-ring perspective. It was a night of emotion, and things got really emotional in the next match. If you've watched this week's Being the Elite or just taken a trip to his social media, you will see that John Silver has been greatly affected by the loss of Brodie Lee, and him teaming with Alex Reynolds and Hangman Page felt like the most perfect way for him to pay tribute. He wore a version of Brodie's gear, which commentary told us was a gift from Lee to him, and they had the perfect heel foils in Santana, Ortiz, and MJF of Inner Circle. MJF in particular was a total dick in this match, even getting in the face of Brodie Lee Jr. -1 at ringside. This was all about building to that Silver hot tag, letting him run wild and hit various Brodie Lee-like spots. In the most surprising moment of the night, Wardlow got in the ring but was stopped by Brodie Lee's former bludgeon brother, Eric Redbeard. Brodie Lee Jr. hit MJF with a kendo stick and Silver hit the discus clothesline for the win, immediately breaking down into tears. Eric came down to cry and celebrate with them, holding a sign that said "Goodbye for now," now, brother. A lovely paraphrasing of one of Brodie's famous catchphrases backstage with the boys. I'll be honest, I was a wreck watching this match. Anna Jay teamed with Ty Conte to take on Dr. Britt Baker and Penelope Ford, with Jay picking up the win with the Queenslayer. Jay welled up during this match as she'd been personally recruited by Lee to join Dark Order to help push her career forward, which was also a message of the night. Brodie Lee didn't come to AEW to take a spot. He didn't come for a paycheck, he came to elevate the promotion and the talent involved. He imparted a lot of his knowledge and wisdom onto the younger talent like Anna Jay, who at 22 only started her professional wrestling career this year in 2020. Matches like this clearly meant a lot to the younger talent of All Elite Wrestling. After the match, Britt Baker gave a nice subtle tribute to Big Rig and then brawled with Thunder Rosa to set up their match in a couple of weeks. And the main event of the show was handpicked by Brodie Lee Jr., a 6-man tag of his favorite wrestlers Cody Rhodes, Orange Cassidy, and Dark Order's 10 taking on Team Taz. The heels ragdolled Cassidy around, and then 10 got the hot tag to run wild and pick up the win with a big spinebuster. Even through his mask, you could see that this was a struggle for him, another young talent that had been given advice by Brodie Lee. Team Taz did a beatdown after the match, but was stopped by Darby Allin and Sting, who came out through the same backstage area to build Allin's TNT defense against Brian Cage in 2 weeks. But the real main event of the show was Cody inviting Amanda Huber and Brodie Lee Jr. to come to the ring to retire his father's wrestling boots in one of the most touching moments of the evening. Tony Khan announced that they were retiring the current design of the TNT Championship, which had previously been held by Brodie Sr., naming Brodie Lee Jr. the TNT Champion forever. And the show ended with a lovely video package for Mr. Brodie Lee, featuring clips of his indie days, personal photos of his family and friends, and photos of him alongside WWE stars like Seth Rollins and Bray Wyatt. It was a perfect end to a perfect show. Obviously, I'm not going to score this episode. It wasn't that kind of show. Instead, I invite you to give your memories of Brodie Lee in the comments down below. Thank you for everything you've given us, John Huber. We here at WrestleTalk will miss you a great deal, and as we've said all week, we would like to extend our best wishes and thoughts to your family and friends of him. You will be missed. Sorry. Right, well, now let's awkwardly segue into the wrestling news. X-Pac's second induction into the WWE Hall of Fame didn't officially happen in 2020, but many assumed that the former DX member was done with his in-ring career, mainly because he said so in 2019 on an episode of X-Pac 12360. But now, on a new episode of that same show, it seems we may be getting one more last run from the 123 Kid. He said on the podcast, "I had hepatitis C for a long time. I tested positive when I came back to TNA. After that, I couldn't get cleared in certain states with athletic commissions. So TNA and WWE couldn't have me in matches. Now I'm cured, everyone. Just this year. I hadn't mentioned it publicly. It cost $100,000 for treatment. It's $1,000 a pill, one pill every day. I feel great. Now that's clear, I'm going to get my knee fixed. I've had a torn ACL since the turn of the decade, like 2008 or something. I'm gonna get that fixed, and sometime next year, I'll put myself on the market and have a few more matches." Where would you like to see X-Pac wrestle? WWE, NXT, AEW, somewhere else? Let me know in the comments down below, because I'll be replying to people from out of nowhere telling you to suck it. It's my best X-Pac impression, sorry guys. But it looks like we will be seeing someone wrestle in WWE for a while longer, as we've now got an update regarding Matt Riddle's WWE contract. Riddle's original contract he signed when he joined WWE in 2018 expires in August next year, and previous reports stated that WWE were hoping to get Riddle to re-sign before the year rolled over into 2021. Well, it seems they now have just about managed it, with both the Wrestling Observer and Fightful Select reporting that the original bro has now signed a multi-year deal with the company. In Sean Ross Sapp's Fightful Select report, it was mentioned that Riddle initially didn't seem too interested in re-signing with WWE after their initial offer, but after new contract terms were offered, he changed his mind and signed a new deal. Riddle will be earning a reported $400,000 per year, with an extra $50,000 for any show he works in Saudi Arabia. Riddle is reportedly in line for a United States Championship match against Lashley either at or before the Royal Rumble in January, and him signing a new deal only means that this is more likely going going to go ahead. And finally today, the viewership for this week's Raw episode is in, with the show drawing an average of 1.77 million viewers, up from the previous week's 1.69 million. And this continues the positive trend from the disastrously low December 14th episode, the lowest viewership for Raw of all time at 1.53 million. Next week's show is Raw Legends Night, which is Vince's oldest trick in the book. Literally, as a way to spike ratings, so expect to see another increase for next week's show too. WWE have got a crazy new gimmick match lined up for the Royal Rumble. Press the video on the right to find out more and what were 10 of the most explosive shoot interviews in 2020. Please watch our video below that to see our latest list video. Remember to subscribe here for daily wrestling news videos and reviews. I've been Luke Owen. Jam that jam.